What's up, man? Matt Artisan here, and let's talk about living abroad. Like, for example, here in the Philippines. A lot of guys are just afraid to take the plunge. They're afraid it's just going to be dangerous compared to the United States, which is so funny because the US is way more dangerous than most places. It really is. There's no mass shootings here. There's no gun problems here in the Philippines. I can walk around with my Rolex in one of the poorest areas and I'm not going to get messed with. Somebody might ask me for some money, but that's pretty much it. Now, I'm not saying you should do that. That's just me. Now, here's the deal. Of course, do your research first. Don't go to Ukraine where there's a war right now. Like, that just wouldn't be smart. Okay, I shouldn't laugh, but it's obviously a horrible situation. By the way, that was one of my favorite countries in the world because the women are so beautiful and it's so inexpensive to stay there, to live there. I spent weeks there. I didn't live there, but I spent a lot of time there. So it's very sad. But anyways, all you got to do is make sure that you can stay in that place as a US citizen or Canadian or wherever you're from, Australia, whatever, and make sure that you can live there, stay there for a certain amount of time, that you're not going to be booted out. For example, living in Europe for a year at a time is not easy because they have, as an American at least, they have a rule that you can only spend, and this is in the Schengen area, which is mostly Western Europe, you can only live there stay there 3 months at a time, and then you need to leave for 3 months, and then you can return for another 3 months if you want. So you can stay 6 months out of the year, but they have to be in 3-month segments. So it makes living there very difficult. Where in contrast, here in the Philippines, you can only stay 1 month, which you might think, well, that's a lot worse, but all you got to do is go to the immigration office or the extension office, I believe is what it is called, and just go there and fill out some paperwork and say that you want to stay longer and tell them how long you want to stay, and they will approve it. And it only costs, from what I remember, I haven't done it in a while, I don't know, $30, $40, $50, something like that. So it's not a big deal. Other places, for example, if I remember correctly, I used to live in Colombia. You can stay for 3 months, and then you have to leave, but you can just leave for a day and come back, which is kind of cool. It gives you a reason to go visit somewhere else. Go to another close country, another Latin American country. Go visit there for a couple days and then just come back. Now remember, don't take any of this as like advice and not do your research. I could be wrong. The rules change over time. So wherever you're planning to live, do your research. Make sure it's possible that you can live there. It wouldn't make sense to go to a country, get a 1-year lease on a condo, and then find out that you have to leave in 3 months. But really, when it comes down to how to do it, is you pack your bag, you pick a place, and you go. I recommend visiting a few places. I've talked about this in another video. Pick a region that you like. You're like, oh, I really like Asian girls. Let's go to Southeast Asia. Or it's cheaper than most places. Let's go there. Or I like Latin culture. Let's go to Latin America. Let's go to Mexico. Or let's go to Colombia or somewhere like that. Or maybe you like the cold and you want to go to Europe, Eastern Europe. Or maybe it's the summertime and you only want to stay for a few months. Whatever it is, pick a region. And I recommend go to a few places, like take a month to explore a few places and then pick the one you like the best. The other option is you just pick one. You just say, everybody says this is a good place. Let's go check it out for 6 months or a year, whatever. You just got to pick how long you want to be there. Get some accommodations, get a hostel, get an Airbnb, a hotel, whatever. Get there and then start finding out how to get an apartment. Don't buy an apartment or rent an apartment, I should say, ahead of time if you haven't even seen it. You could get scammed or cheated if you haven't even seen it. So go get some accommodations for a week and then go start looking at apartments because it's going to be a lot cheaper than just renting through Airbnb unless you find a really good deal through Airbnb. A lot of times a 1-month rental is a lot cheaper than the daily rentals or weekly rentals. So you can compare it if you want because you do have some protection with Airbnb, whereas if you just meet a guy who claims he has an apartment and makes you pay cash, there is a chance you could get screwed over. It's never happened to me, but obviously it could happen. But don't pay for like 6 months in advance. Just pay for 1 month at a time, I recommend. And also, you guys ask me sometimes about buying property in other countries. I bought 4 properties in other countries. One in Colombia, I bought for 670,000 pesos, and I sold it for 1.1 billion pesos. I know, it sounds like I'm a billionaire. I guess in Colombia I am. But here's the deal. The exchange rate went up, not in my favor, during that time that I owned the condo. I still made profit. It was still a good investment. I don't regret it at all. I do recommend it. I've only recently bought real estate in the US, in Hawaii. So my first 4 properties were all in different countries: Colombia, 2 in Mexico, and 1 in the Philippines. I've never had any issues. I've never been scammed, except for dealing with a designer here in the Philippines. I paid her 50% up front. She took the money and never did any of the work. And it was supposed to be a big job, but it was a decent chunk of change. So, lesson learned. Don't do that. But as far as buying property, I've never gotten scammed. Always go through a lawyer. Always hire a lawyer. And not the seller's lawyer. Find your own lawyer. I literally, in Mexico, just Googled, looked at Google Maps and typed in real estate lawyer or real estate attorney, and just found the one with the best rating, had a free consultation with them. They sounded great, they sounded legit, went over, visited them, their law office looked great, everything looked legit, and I've been working with them for many years now. They've also helped me with other things besides just real estate, such as immigration and also buying businesses. So I own a restaurant in Mexico as well. And you gotta be careful. Again, you gotta be careful with all this stuff, buying businesses and buying condos. But again, find an attorney and then just make sure they have good reviews. You don't need to worry about referrals and stuff like that. Just trust the reviews. And that's really it, man. You just gotta take the plunge. Everybody wants to do it, but nobody has the balls to do it. And it's really easy. You book a flight, you book a hotel, you go there, you exchange some dollars for whatever their local currency is. You find somewhere to live so that you're not staying in that expensive hotel or that hostel that just sucks for too long, so that you have a decent place. Here's a pro tip when it comes to banking and cell phone, because those are like the most common things you need. You need cash. A lot of places only accept cash, especially in Southeast Asia, or especially in the Philippines, I'd say. Other places, they take credit cards. But a lot of places, even nice restaurants, sometimes don't take credit card. It's so annoying. That's one of the things that just irks me, because I like acquiring airline points on my credit cards. But anyways, what I recommend is get a Schwab checking account before you leave and deposit money from your main checking account to your Schwab checking account. They'll give you a debit card, and you can use that debit card at any ATM around the world, and it'll say, do you accept these fees? $5 fees, sometimes even more. Also in the US, by the way, like you go to Vegas or somewhere in the casino and they charge you $20 to take out $20. It's ridiculous. Or at a strip club, it's even worse, I think. So they will refund you at the end of the month all of the fees. So you're not paying any ATM fees. That's really, really nice. And then when it comes to your cell phone, if you have a SIM card holder in your phone, the new iPhones do not, but if you have one, then you can just buy a local SIM. It's very easy. You just go to like a 7-Eleven usually, or some kind of convenience store in that country. You just say, I want a local SIM. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to figure out if it's in another language, but a lot of times it'll be in English as well. And you can ask the people at 7-Eleven sometimes to help you out. I've done that. Or you get a virtual SIM. I use 2. Because I have a newer iPhone, so I use Visible when I'm in Mexico and when I'm in the US. It's only $25 a month. This way I can keep my US number, and when I'm somewhere like here where it would just cost too much to use that virtual SIM, I use Airalo. It's AIRALO. Airalo. I'll say it again. AIRALO, because I probably am too lazy to type it out and put it on here, because these are very raw videos. I'm not sending them to an editor. It's just me doing some bare editing. So anyways, Airalo is really great. It's good for data. Just use your Wi-Fi as much as possible when you're in your house, or you go to other buildings, restaurants and stuff. But It's cheap. It's like I probably spend, you have to top up to get more and more data, but it warns you when you're about 25% low on data. So it's really good. It's cheap. I spend probably 20, 30 bucks a month maybe on it. You can acquire points too and use those points to buy data. So this month I'm not spending any money on data. I think even the next month I don't spend anything because I've been using it for like a year or two, and so I've acquired enough points. And again, I don't use it every month. When I go back to Mexico, I use Visible, which is 25. Actually, no, I upgrade to the $45 a month plan. So Visible is great. It's owned by Verizon now. It's simple. So these are virtual SIM cards that I recommend. Try them out. They're great for travel because really all you need is data anyway. Most places use WhatsApp, and here they also have Viber and Telegram. Like, you know, anybody you meet, they're gonna have some app where you can talk to them. It's very rare that I meet a girl and she says, no, sorry, I don't have any of those apps. I only do SMS. I mean, if that's the case, then we can't communicate. Sorry. So let me know. Are you gonna take the plunge? Are you gonna leave your country and go live somewhere else? Why the heck not? If you make a few $1,000s a month, like I said, minimum two, I mean, that's very minimum, but at least like anywhere between 2 and 5, you are good. You're gonna be good. Especially on the upper end, you could live like in a 2-bedroom condo and have like, you know, super nice place and eat at nice restaurants and have a fairly nice life. If you're making 5,000 or above, like you can live like a rock star, trust me. So why not do it? What's holding you back? Why not live where you have the best lifestyle? Go explore, go check out some other places. And let me know some of your experiences and adventures. Hit me up on Instagram, send me a DM. I would love to hear from you. And I'll see you in the next video.